There we go. We are up and running. Here's the casperator. Come on up. There he is. There he is. We're up and running. We're going to do Coffee with Casper. We're going to gong ourselves in about 2 minutes. Let me know where you are. And we're glad you're here this morning. We're glad you're here. Yes, we are. All right. This is going to be good morning. Here we go. Good aloha from Honolulu. All right. Checking in from the island bright and early. Hola from Hollywood. Beautiful, glamorous Hollywood. We're up and running. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're back in business. I'm glad so many of you were able to see it on Facebook last week. We're sorry it wasn't on YouTube, but we had to switch out because of the technical glitch. But we're here now. Let me know where you are. We're going to gong ourselves in 1 minute. We're glad you're here. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. This is Coffee with Casper, and we're about to begin. Got your favorite beverage? And a few minutes to think again. All right, let me know where you're checking in from. We're glad you're here. We're glad to be live. And we're glad to be gonging ourselves in just a second here. Sound is good. Everything's happening. I can see it's happening at the zoo. All right. Okay, there it is. There's gong in time. Here we go. Let's everybody take a big, deep breath in. We're going to take in that big, deep breath. Let it go all through the system. Then we're going to let out the sound, ah. Here we go. Ready? Big, deep breath in. Ah. Relaxing the shoulders. And just giving yourself permission to be here for this 20 minutes. Here, one more big, deep breath in. Let that energy roll up into your heart center. And let's just be present, remembering that that gong is the tone that each one of us is creating without, of course, ringing anything. We're good morning from North Carolina, colorful North Carolina. There we go. That gong symbolizes the tone that we are sending out from the total of our awareness, the sum total of everything we've ever thought, said, done, or felt. That's what we call the consciousness that we are. That consciousness rings out, and it returns to us as the multidimensional experience of our lives. Energy in, energy out. So here we are. Here it's in this country. There's some. This is an election day. It's a year from now that we have the big national election, but there are elections happening all over the country. Good morning, Susan. Nice to have you with us this morning. Let me know where you are. Checking in. I'm Harry Morgan Moses. You're watching Coffee with Casper. We're here every Tuesday, most every Tuesday, at 8:30 Pacific time, and available 24/7 on YouTube and Facebook. But you Google either Harry Morgan Moses or Coffee with Casper, you'll find us, and we're glad you're here with us this morning. Good morning from Palm Desert. All right. So here we go. Let me know where you're checking in from, and here's what we want to talk about today. Casper wants to come back up and say hello. There we go. He's been exploring, and now he's back. This is what we want to talk about today. I may have told you the story. We've been doing Coffee with Casper for 3.5 years, maybe more. It's been quite a good morning. Let me know where you're checking in from. We're glad hey, good morning, Paul. Good morning from Canada. Lorraine, nice to see you. Paul's in Atlanta. Boy, you move around, Mr. Paul. Good to see you this morning. We're glad you're here. So I'm going to tell this story. I may have told it over the many years that we've been doing this, the many broadcasts that we've done, but I think it's an important story, particularly given all of the outer information in the world. Of course, all of the trauma, all of the upset, all of the violence, all the separation, all of which is not real. What is real is that we came from the light, we put on a coat of skins, and we shall return to the light. We came from the light with a mission and purpose. We came to be in this extraordinary planet and the extraordinary opportunity to be in kinetic love. I mean, where we can we can be in touch. Good morning from Virginia Beach, Virginia, Suzanne. Susan, nice to see you this morning. Kinetic, right? We have the opportunity to physically be present in our awareness, to be present in our consciousness, and to see what kind of experience of love we might have as immortal spiritual beings who came from the light to bring more light. And what we know is vibrationally there's a spectrum, and the people in your experience, you're putting out this tone that is your vibration, and the people that are in your experience are within the range of what you're including in your consciousness. That's how you get friends, that's how people are attracted to you, that's how unexplained, extraordinary good events happen, because we move into synchronicity when we begin to partner with our soul nature. That's the nature that we came in the world to see from. Not to see from the human space, but to see from our eternal I am consciousness and look into reality and transform the experience in the world to match that eternal reality which is born in harmony. And that means you and I each day must touch. Hey, Susan, nice to see you. Morgan's wife and Garnet's mom. Isn't that nice? Good to see you today. We're related. So what we're wanting to do is transform, to be the agency of transformation because of the viewpoint from which we're looking at the world. And I'll tell you this story to remind you, this is why we so often talk about the word intention. And there's a big difference between the intention, which is the overall framework of what we came to do, and attention, which is where we're putting our awareness at any given moment. But in this time, it's very important for those of us who are more consciously in tune to bring our intention to our attention so that we don't get overwhelmed by the events of the world and that we can continue to be a place that knows the universe itself is offering complete unconditional love to all humanity in the earth and asking us as earthlings to participate in the transformation of human consciousness, which will again aid in the transformation of the planet and will aid in the birthing of eternal harmony. From John Lennon's song, Imagine no more wars, no more violence, no more separation, no need to hold on, right? What if we just begin to allow that which is eternal reality to come in? And many might remember in your youth, before you began to be obstructed by your experiences, of looking out in the world and seeing violence and war and upsetness and discrimination and racism and all of those ugly things, and seeing this isn't the way it's supposed to be. We're able to see it from another place, right? And we are seeing it from another place, and we have a role in bringing it into our experience so that our cup may run over, overflow, and then we have room to participate in helping to transform the world. Yes? So good and more good is mine is a very good perspective to recognize that in spite of the events of the world, you're still entitled to your good, and your good is not robbing the world. It is in fact blessing the world, just as your good in my life is blessing my world, whether I know about it or not. Because we're vibrating together, we're bringing our intention together, and we're now putting our intention on changing the upsetness in the world, that peace, peace, peace may prevail, right? And peace will prevail when we have enough peace workers working on the planet to make it so. And you and I fall into that category. What we know in the broader perspective is we're bringing light at every juncture. Everywhere we can bring good and more good to ourselves and others, the more we can heal, uplift, and inspire and bring forth more life into anyone's life, the better our lives will be, and of course, the more we're making a contribution toward an awakening world. And this is what we all want to be doing. So here's the story. I wanted to tell you this story from here in Southern California. We get these winds called Santa Ana winds, and they're called that because they come sometimes called the devil winds. They change the direction of the winds. They bring in very dry air. It blows in hard sometimes, creates a tremendous amount of fire danger here in Southern California. And that kind of wind creates tension in people. We just had a big one last week, and it's amazing how you have to be even more mindful of the peace that you're bringing into your space, because people are getting agitated by these winds. So one day, many years ago in the 1970s, I used to attend what was then called the Church of Religious Science, which is the foundation of that church, now called the Centers for Spiritual Living, is Ernest Holmes' book, The Science of Mind. And basically, The Science of Mind is a metaphysical book among many very good metaphysical books written around that same time of the 1920s and 30s, and began to happen with Ralph Waldo Emerson in the late 1800s and Judge Thomas Troward. There's a huge history of this new thought. In fact, in the Parliament of World Religions, it is said that New Thought is America's only great contribution to the universal body of spiritual knowledge. So, hi Pam, nice to see you this morning. So that's what we're about. We're about bringing not any particular philosophy, but those universal principles which are behind all philosophies to the forefront. That we're not paying attention to the rules written by humans, but we're digging into the nature of the universe, and therefore the nature of the self, and bringing that harmonious nature, that ever-expanding love nature, that ever-expanding appreciation nature into our lives, which of course causes our lives to be better and causes all of our family and friends and those who are vibrating and touched by our experience to be uplifted. Isn't that a nice thing? That's a wonderful thing. So here's the story. Back in the 1970s, the Santa Ana winds were blowing, and it would get over 100 degrees and stiflingly hot. And there was this wonderful practitioner. A practitioner is somebody who practices affirmative prayer in such a way that they're not only practicing it for themselves, but also for others. And in the early days, Ernest Holmes had some practitioners that were with him all the time, that were setting up offices and doing prayer work basically all day long for themselves and others, and for their clients that would come in. And Patricia was, at that time, in her very late 80s. And she was married for some 50 years to her husband, Paul. And one day I'm greeting people as they're walking in on this very hot Sunday morning. And I said to Patricia as she's coming in, "Oh, so nice to see you. Isn't this great?" I said, "Boy, isn't it hot outside? Wow." And she looked at me and she said, "I'm aware of the heat, but I don't dwell on it." Aha. So if you look at the tumult in the world, and you look at wars and violence and race hatred and all of these things that are making themselves displayed in the world, what we want to do is bring our intention, which is to bring more light, more love, more joy, more peace, more freedom into the world. Hi, Martin. Nice to see you this morning. That's what we're seeking to do, right? To be a place where we can bring more light and all of the qualities of the Eternal One, the qualities of eternal harmony, into the world that we can bring into our own lives, those who are touched by our lives, and then the lives who are touched, as Emerson said, wheel upon wheel. If we uplift somebody else in our friends' lives, and then they uplift their family and friends, wheel upon wheel, circle upon circle, we're making a tremendous difference in a world that's seeking to change and struggling to move through that change. And at the same time, we're entitled to live lives that are full and meaningful and powerful. So we're aware of the tumult in the world. We're aware of the indiscretion of humankind. We're aware of egotism and its rampant expression in the world, and sometimes leading to autocracies and slavery and torture and disempowerment of all kinds of levels. We're aware of these things going on in the world, but we're not dwelling on them. We're dwelling on that which is peace, that which is joy. We're dwelling on the fact that, what is that wonderful quote? God loves, from St. Augustine, God loves each of us as if there were only one of us. And we're aware of that divine love that is flowing through us. We're aware then of the blessings that are coming into our lives through that communion that we're working on every day to make it more meaningful, to make it more, to feel it more deeply every day, you and I. This is what our work is to do, is to be the light in the presence of the darkness. And remember, when you're being the light in the presence of darkness, the darkness comprehendeth it not. The darkness doesn't fight it. In fact, it has to give way to it, because light, there's no enemy to light. Light is transcendent. And light will always transcend darkness. That's what light does. So we are the right people at the right time, doing our lives in the right way. And yet, if we fall into, the God loves waves, all creation is born from waves that are in potential. The waves, once they become conscious, turn into particles. Those particles start at the level of electron, where we see it transform from a wave to a particle. And then those form into molecules, and that creates matter, and that creates what we're experiencing in the physical reality. But all of it is coming from that primordial energetic field, which is the beginning and the end of all things, the Alpha and the Omega. And we are one with that. We are included in the Alpha and Omega as its image and likeness. So the beginning and the end is happening in me. So where my attention goes, my energy flows. So being aware that I came from the light to put on a coat of skins, to accept the love of the one in me and as me and through me. God loves each of us as if there were only one of us. To accept that at the deepest levels of my being, and that's where my work is on a daily basis. If behold, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, in other words, the glory of the Most High is present, then I must be the instrument and the avenue through which it comes into experience. And I am not trying to change it to make it that way. I am trying to align with it because it's already that way. Peace and joy and love, expanding and expanding awareness, and the joy that comes out of our expanding awareness. The more we rise up, the larger our vibration moves, and the more miracles that happen. As remember, in the Course of Miracles, it says miracles are seen in the light, because miracles are the light. So again, the more we focus on that divinity within ourselves, the more we call it in to our expression on a daily basis, the more then we can then apply it to the circumstances in our world, to help heal those that are around us that might be suffering from health problems, they might be suffering from financial fears and doubts, they might be suffering from being out of purpose, out of tune with their own nature because they don't have a practice. Because when the world is in such tumult, if you don't have a practice to transcend it, to go deeper than the tumult in the world, then the tumult in the world will rock you around. It's just like if you were body surfing. If you don't know how to go deeper to get under the waves so they don't toss you around, you will get tossed around. And yet you have the volition, the ability to choose to go, oh, that's too big, that's too rough, I'm going to go deep underneath this one, come up for air and look for the waves that I can play with, not the waves that are going to bang me around. Yeah? And every one of us has that power. I'm aware of the heat. I just don't dwell on it. I'm aware of the tumult in the world, and it brings my attention to the fact that I need to be a place of peace, that I need to be a place of love, that I need to be a place of in-tunement with to be in tune with the one, in tune with the infinite. One of the greatest, Ralph Waldo Trine wrote that book, one of the greatest, first New Thought books to sell over 1 million copies, 80 years ago or so, a long time ago. So the awareness is in the world, the awareness is in you, that's why you're here today, and you have a right to bring that awareness into every aspect of your experience. To dwell deeper into your true nature, to inquire into it, to ask and seek and knock, and to bring that true nature into your experience, and to make it kinetic with others, to make it so others feel it and connect to it and notice it and experience it. And that's who you are. You're that light worker in the world who can bring that light. Martin Luther King said, "I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word." I agree with the great Martin Luther King. Unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word. And we are the carriers of that in the world. So who you are is something magnificent. What you bring to the world is something magnificent. If you've enjoyed any part of our 20 minutes together today, we ask you to share it. Share it on YouTube, share it on LinkedIn, like, follow, post it on your LinkedIn, post it on your groups. Let's just keep connecting. We're not the only light workers in the world, this band of us gathered together here, but we are among them, and we are in support of all of them. Let us bring more light into the world, so that the long-time prayer, peace on earth and goodwill toward humanity and the earth, shall prevail. I'll be back next week on Coffee with Casper. Until we see each other again, we invite you to go in the light, as the light, and with the light. May the long-time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide you on your way. Bye for now. Say goodbye, handsome. Bye.